Hello, I'm Holly. And I'm Whitney. We're here from the Financial Aid Office to provide you with some information to help you better understand your award letter and the aid that's been offered to you. So, all right, we'll get started. All right, so welcome to Financial Aid 101, the basics. So today we're really going to go over the types of financial aid. So focusing on the federal, state, and institutional, how to read your award letter and accept those offers in MyView. And then we'll go ahead and give you some tips as far as looking ahead down the road. So really when you look at financial aid, it really breaks down to two basic types. You have the need-based and the non-need-based aid. So need-based, we're looking at the scholarships, both institutional and external, grants, those can be federal, state, and institutional, your federal work study, and then your federal subsidized Stafford loan. Then in the non-need-based, you're looking at the unsubsidized loan, and then other outside private loans, either through the Parent Plus loan or private lenders. So just overall, keep in mind that the amount of scholarships and grants that you received, combined with any of those other need-based aids, such as the federal work study or the subsidized loan, cannot exceed your need. And Holly's going to break that down for us a little bit more clearly. Okay, so this chart explains the need formula that our institution, as well as many other institutions, use. So you have your cost of attendance or budget, those are very synonymous terms, and they're made up of direct and indirect costs. The direct costs are going to be those that are charged to your account at the institution. So your tuition, any related fees. If you live on campus, it's going to be housing charges, meal plans, and if you buy any books or supplies in a bookstore on campus and charge those to your account, those would all be those direct costs. Indirect costs can vary. Those are things that are still going to be factored into your cost of attendance, but they're not actually going to be charged to your student account. So those are things as any other types of books or supplies you're buying on your own. Transportation, if you live off campus, even if you live on campus, there's still going to be a transportation allowance, especially if maybe you live near campus or you're traveling home every once in a while, that's going to be factored in. A spending allowance for things such as personal care items. Those are all important components, but they can vary based on the student, and they're just an indirect factor. So if you subtract out the EFC, or your expected family contribution, which is that number determined on your FAFSA, it's based on a variety of things, including family income, family size, assets, number in the family attending college. It may not be what the family can actually afford to contribute, but it is used to determine the financial need. So that need is used for the schools to base the financial aid award on in terms of trying to meet as much of that unmet need in the gift type of aid. The awarding and renewal criteria is very important. Every institution that is receiving federal funding is going to have the policy of satisfactory academic progress. The requirements for an undergraduate student to maintain this are maintaining a 2.0 or higher cumulative GPA, completing 66% or more of the classes you enroll in each semester. Now, an F or an excused grade will count against that completion. So that is very important, especially if you're a student maybe looking at dropping a course somewhere during the semester. You always want to check with the financial aid office to see how it affects your eligibility. Awarding and renewal criteria in terms of some of your gift aid that you may have. The Pell Grant and SEOG grant are both need-based aid, available only to undergraduate students seeking a first bachelor's degree who have exceptional financial need. The Pell Grant for the 2016-17 year will range between $0 and $5,234 at its maximum for a student with a 0 EFC who attends full-time in both the fall and spring semester. You can see the award varies between $291 all the way up to $5,815. So $5,234 is really the EFC figure that's going to be used to determine the award, and it will be prorated based on the student's enrollment. The SEOG grant is still looking at that EFC figure,
and a typical award here at UMSL for a student would be about $800. The Access Missouri Grant and the Bright Flight are both through the state of Missouri. They require various types of criteria. The Access Missouri Grant requires a student to be full-time, having completed their FAFSA no later than April 1st, and to be a Missouri resident. For a brand new student, they're not going to establish GPA, but in order to renew that, the GPA is going to need to be a 2.5 or higher. The Bright Flight is merit-based, and it is based on ACT or SAT score taken by the June test date of the student's senior year. The student must score in the upper 3% on the ACT or SAT. It's eligible for first-time Missouri students, Missouri resident. So you have to attend a Missouri school. You can't attend a school elsewhere in order to get Bright Flight outside of Missouri. And you have to be full-time enrollment between either the fall or spring semester or both. And the award is currently set at $2,700 with the 2.5 cumulative GPA renewal. The UMSL grant is an institutional grant that is also need-based. We look at students who have completed their FAFSA by that April 1st priority deadline. They have to be an undergraduate seeking a first bachelor's degree and enrolled full-time. Currently, the award is set at $1,500, and it also requires a 2.5 or higher GPA. Now, our merit-based scholarships have a little bit of different criteria. For a new freshman, a March 1st admittance deadline with the admissions office was required. The student needed to have a FAFSA completed and be working towards that first bachelor's degree. The award values range from $2,000 to $7,000. We do have additional information regarding those on our website, along with the renewal criteria, but students do need to be full-time, completing at least 24 credit hours between fall and spring for renewal. External scholarships can vary from donor to donor. It's going to be based on their criteria. They could be based on merit, need, leadership, diversity, performance, career path, any type of criteria that they want to specify. Possible renewal requirements may include thank you letters, GPA, credit hours, a yearly application that must be resubmitted, anything of that sort. Now, moving away from those to another type of need-based aid would be federal work study. It does require the student to be actually an undergraduate or graduate, but for this sake, we're just going to talk about undergraduate students. And the FAFSA does need to be completed by a priority deadline of April 1st. The award amount can vary. For this past year, we were awarding the $4,000 total for the fall and spring. It is applicable to on-campus and off-campus jobs where we have arrangements already made, and the pay is going to be at least the current federal minimum wage by the hour. And students do need to be enrolled at least half-time. Then we move into the loans. This is the only type of aid that is going to have to be repaid by the student. The subsidized Stafford loan is a need-based loan for undergraduate students only. They must be degree seeking and have at least half-time enrollment, which is a minimum of 6 credit hours per semester. The value is determined by the dependency status as well as the academic level, which is determined by how many completed credit hours the student has successfully completed. Currently, the interest rate is at 4.29%. And this type of loan, the student is not accruing the interest while they're in school, but once they complete school or take a break for longer than about 3 months, then they will enter a repayment period. And they do have to maintain satisfactory academic progress. The difference with the unsubsidized loan is that it is not need-based, so the student does not have to have financial need in order to qualify for it, but a FAFSA would still have to be filed.
All right. So if you haven't already received your award letter, you can go to our website and locate our net price calculator. Every institution is required to have one of these on the website. So any schools that you're looking at has this, but It's a great tool to get a good estimate as far as what your cost of attendance will look like, what is your estimated financial aid, and then it'll help you see how much money you need to look at coming up with otherwise. Like I said, you can find this on our website. If you're having any questions about that, you can definitely contact our office. So what happens when all the financial you've been offered doesn't quite add up to your estimated attendance? We call that you have a gap in funding. So we need to help figure out a way to locate that money so that way you can attend institutions, make those timely payments, and not have to worry about the finances and concentrate on the academics and the fun college experience. So we always start with look for those scholarships. We really encourage you to never stop seeking scholarships. However, there is a peak time with scholarship opportunities that usually starts around January to June, but scholarships can open up even earlier, October, November, December, and some opportunities may last through the summer. So always search for those scholarships. Get that money that you don't have to pay back to apply to those college expenses. Moving forward, you are looking at loan options. And of course, since there's loans, you are going to have to be repaying these. So a common option is a Parent Plus loan. This loan is one parent applying at studentloans.gov. It does have to be a legal parent or step parent listed on the FAFSA. It's still a federal loan, however, it's credit-based compared to your unsubsidized or subsidized staffing loans, which is based on you being a degree-seeking student. It does have to be for a specific loan period, so that can be either just the fall semester, just the spring semester, or for the full academic year. When the parent applies, they're going to be asking for a specific loan amount, or they can put in a maximum amount. Just be aware that if a parent does select the maximum amount, we still have to get that specific number from the parent. So the school will be following up with the parent directly. Now, if the loan is denied, the student can receive an additional unsubsidized loan. So another option to fill in that gap is an alternative loan or a private loan. So this is going to be through a lender other than the federal government. So this can be through the student or the parent. It is private and it is credit-based. Once again, it is going to be for a specific loan period, so either fall, spring, or fall and spring. On those loan requests, it is going to most likely ask for those months. So as outlined here, August to May, August to December, or January to May. So what we really want to encourage students is if you're at the point where you're considering a Parent Plus loan or an alternative loan, it's really time to do your research. So you're really wanting to get the best deal possible. So you're going to be looking at the interest rate. Are they fixed or variable? Does it have a fee associated with it? What is the loan amount? Most lenders will require you to at least take out $1,000, and they have different maximums. And all lenders have other specific requirements, whether they require you to be degree seeking, full-time, half-time, etc. So the thing to remember is that at this point, every lender is different. So if you're having a question, you want to contact that lender directly to get the right answer. And just compare, just to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success in the long run. All right, so now we're going to get specifically into your award. So if you have your award letter, you can go ahead and get that pulled out now. We have a few examples to review. So the one you're seeing now, this is an award letter for this academic year, 2016-2017. That's going to be starting in the fall. It's an incoming freshman who's a full-time student, and they're living with their parents. So the first thing I want to bring your attention to is in the top right-hand corner, you'll see the ESC. So this is the number from the FAFSA. This is that expected family contribution that Holly explained earlier, is what each institution uses to determine your need-based aid. This number is the same federally. So if you have award letters you're carrying across the board, this is the one number that will be the same institution to institution. So now if we look at that first box, this is what we're expecting your cost of attendance to be. This will look different student to student. Once again, it's going to depend on your enrollment, if you're going to be living on campus or off campus, or if you're going to be living in a dorm. So just as Holly broke these down earlier, you have those direct costs and then those indirect costs. So now this is a good estimate, but of course it's not necessarily exact cost. So if you're going to take advantage of your free Metro Pass and use MetroLink or the bus system, you're really going to save on transportation there. So this is our best estimate for you at this point, but it is flexible. So if we go down to that next box, you're looking at your financial aid offered. So this is what we're looking at as far as the type of financial aid you're not going to have to pay back. So you're looking at your scholarships, your grading opportunities. Once again, you're looking at federal, state, and institutional. So that next circle there, that's the amount of your out-of-pocket cost once all of your free money has been applied to your cost of attendance. Then we're going to be dropping down to that last box. This is where you have your loan offers. So once again, it is a loan. This is money that you do have to pay back. But if you do wish to accept it, you can. And that would then give you that last circle there with your final out-of-pocket expense. So for this particular student, if they did accepting all the financial aid they were offered, they have a total out-of-pocket expense of around $500. So I do want to point out that we did talk about the loan offers being based on your dependency status and your grade level. An incoming freshman student can expect to have a subsidized and unsubsidized total loan offer of $5,500. The breakdown between those two loans can be a little bit different based on that financial need. All right. All right, so let's take another look at this student. So here we have a student that's transferring in at a sophomore level status, full-time student, and they're living in the dorm. So once again, top right-hand corner, we're looking at that EFC. That's the number that we're using to calculate a student's financial need. And you see their cost of attendance looks a little bit different, mainly the housing line and the transportation. Once again, it's going to look a little bit different student to student based on their enrollment and their living options. So next box down, we're looking at their financial aid offers. Once again, starting out with the money that they do not have to pay back. You can see that their Pell Grant isn't quite as much as our last student. Once again, because Pell Grant has a range. So depending upon what your EFC is, your Pell Grant will look different student to student. So if the student accepts all their grants and scholarships, they'll have an out-of-pocket expense of around $17,000. Then we'll drop down to take a look at their loan offer. So since this student is a sophomore, their loan offer has increased from a freshman level status. So a sophomore is going to be a loan offer of $6,500. So if they accept this loan offer, that's going to bring their total out-of-pocket expense to a little over $11,000. So this student, this is when we would really encourage students to keep seeking those outside opportunities, keep that scholarship search going, and then maybe look into those other loan options, because that's a significant amount that we need to find funding for, so that the student's not at a standstill at the end of the academic year. And this is definitely something where students can come to our office at their own financial aid coordinators, and we can really help them explore other options.
Okay, moving on to accepting your aid. With an award letter that you received through the mail, I do want to point out you will only receive an award letter through the mail the first time that you have applied and have been offered aid at UMSL. Moving forward, any type of revision to your aid and each new academic year when you renew your FAFSA, you're only going to get an email to your UMSL email account directing you to MyView. But with your award letter, if you've received it already, you should have received with that kind of a checklist and reminders worksheet, as well as a tutorial walking you through accepting through MyView, because this is how you're going to have to accept your aid each academic year. We don't do awards semester by semester. If you were starting at the beginning of the academic year, then your aid is going to be set up primarily for an even split between the fall and spring semesters. Unless you're with us one semester only, such as the spring semester, then your aid would be set up for the spring only. But in this situation, where we're looking, it is for the academic year. So as you can see, the aid there is offered. There's a column in the middle of the page, and then there are 2 awards at the bottom that are accepted. We will automatically accept the federal SEOG grant and the federal Pell Grant for the student, so those will always be checked for the student, since there is no other criteria they're currently needing to meet in order to receive those. We will never accept a loan for a student without their written consent, so that would be sitting at an offered status. And then some of the other scholarships and grants will have additional criteria that you have to meet, so we do need you to understand and accept those terms during the acceptance process. Additionally, some scholarships may have other terms. They may need to have a thank you letter that is written before it can be accepted. You might have to accept a scholarship through the Academic Works application portal, or depending on different types of scholarships, such as a housing scholarship or say a music scholarship, there's criteria that must be met with the specific department, and once the contract is signed, we will receive the notice, and then we will accept on behalf of you and the department. And I do want to point out with the loans that under the accept, if you choose to click accept, it's going to pre-fill in the amount in that accepted area. If you're not wishing to borrow all of the loan, you can decrease the amount that you're accepting to a whole dollar amount, but it must be a whole dollar amount. And you always want to accept the subsidized loan before the unsubsidized loan if you're needing to borrow a loan. If you do borrow a loan, there are some additional steps you will need to complete, and they are the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. Both of these steps are completed on the website studentloans.gov. You do need your FSA ID and password to log into the site. The entrance counseling is a tutorial that's going to walk you through and quiz you regarding the different types of loans, interest rates, budgeting, and it'll begin to talk about repayment. The master promissory note is your agreement to repay the loan. So if you do not agree to that, the Department of Education is not going to allow you to actually borrow the loan. Okay, now we're going to look ahead a little bit. If you're planning on having anyone else call our office, or say registration, cashier's office regarding your bill, and we need to assist them with answering questions regarding your account, you're going to need to set up what's called additional authorized access in MyView. There are some instructions online regarding that. This is how the page looks. But there's the FERPA policy, which is the Family Education Right to Privacy Act, which prohibits us from disclosing any financial aid information or other personal academic information to anyone without your consent. So it is extremely imperative, especially if you have parents who are going to be helping to pay for school, or anyone else who might be assisting you. If they're going to need to call on your behalf, please set that up so we can go ahead and have that conversation with them whenever they do contact us.
All right, so also looking ahead, disbursement of your financial aid will be no earlier than 10 days prior to the start of classes for each semester. So the disbursement period can be dispersed that 10-day mark out or just a few days before classes start. Once that financial aid pays, if it pays your student account balance in full and you have financial aid remaining, the cashier's office will process you a refund for the excess financial aid. You do have the option to set direct deposit on MyView. You will receive your refund much quicker if you do set direct deposit compared to waiting for a check in the mail. Either way, you'll still get that refund. It is your money. If it's loan money, you have signed that master promissory note for it. So it is now in your hands to use the best discretion in spending that refund money. So by default, you'll get a check in the mail, or you can set direct deposit on MyView to receive that deposit electronically. You will receive a monthly billing statement from the cashier's office. This is a static image, so it means that this is what your account looks like as of the day that they bill. You do have access through MyView to see the most up-to-date information. So if you made a payment since that bill was created, you can always log into MyView to see your most up-to-date information. All right, and lastly, we just want to make sure that you renew that FAFSA each and every year that you wish to receive financial aid. It is a yearly application, and so we also want to make sure that you're aware of the new dates that the FAFSA is going to be available. Come October 1st, students can go ahead and start filling out the FAFSA for the 17-18 academic year. And the new priority deadline is going to be February 1st. So that's really important that students need that to be eligible for priority aid, especially for Missouri State aid. And last but not least, we really encourage you to keep a very good eye on your UMSL email account. Once you receive that award letter, all of our communications will start going out electronically. So if we ever just have a notification for you, or if we ever have a request, that's how we'll notify you. So it's really important that you pick up on those emails. If you have questions, you contact our office. That way we can keep everything running smoothly, get everything processed. That way there's nothing preventing your financial aid processing. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to us. We are located in the Millennium Student Center on the 3rd floor. You can always call us. We always have someone answering the phone between our office hours, which are 8 to 6 Monday through Thursday and 8 to 5 on Fridays. You can email us your questions. You can tweet us. We do have students, we can assist students on a walk-in basis in our office, or you can call ahead and schedule an appointment to have a sit-down meeting with a financial aid coordinator. Any of those ways, please feel free to contact us and we'll answer any of your questions. Thanks, guys.